Welcome back. It is Wednesday, March 27th in the NBA. My 5 best bets are on the way. We have 3 props plus 2 game picks. Let's dive in. But first, we need to do a recap from yesterday. A 1-in-1 day. Step in the right direction. Not what we wanted, though. OKC clutched up. They were up 19, and of course, they had to blow a lead. We needed a late surge, and they got it done covering that in New Orleans. And then De'Aaron Fox and the Kings. I don't know what the heck they did in the second half because Fox had 14 at half. We were looking pretty good. Our birthday parlay was looking good. And then they absolutely did nothing in the third quarter. Fox sucked. I think he went 6 for 18. Could not buy a shot in that second half. Just a terrible showing from the Kings. A 1-in-1 day. Like I said, our birthday parlay did not get it done because Fox really couldn't get anything going in the second half. But other than that, it was really close. We had a chance, and I do want to say thank you guys all for the birthday wishes you guys sent down below in the comment section. I certainly appreciate it. I saw a bunch of them. I liked a bunch of comments. I appreciate you guys for showing all that love and support. I know that it hasn't been the greatest stretch over the past few weeks, but it's going to turn around eventually, and hopefully that starts today. And a card I really like today. We have the NBA's been doing a weird thing where, especially over the next few days, it's like they put 12 games on one slate, and then, hey, here's 2 games. And that's kind of what they did today. So I really like the 5 picks we got going. Couple unders, couple overs, game picks, and whatnot. Let's dive into the first pick of the day. It is going to be a guy by the name of Desmond Bane of the Memphis Grizzlies, over 18.5 points, minus 115 on Bet365. I won't lie to you guys, the props have really been ice cold. Eventually, we're going to get someone to shoot above average. I mean, I don't know the last time I took a player prop where a player prop over where the guy shot above his regular season shooting average. Everyone's shooting like 30%, but God forbid I take an under, that guy's shooting 80%, but it's going to eventually even out. And I really like Desmond Bane, though, tonight. Enough about that rant. Now, Bane obviously was injured for a long time, but he returned back to action 4 games ago. In those 4 games, Bane has scored 22, 24, 6, and 15 points. Only one of those games was at home. I believe that first one, 22 points. Now, you look at him, he's attempting a lot of shots. I mean, 17, 19, 13, and 14 field goal attempts. He's played 32, 37, 24, and 32 minutes. So he's playing, 30-plus minutes. And this has been the games that they have not been competitive in. I mean, we're talking about the Grizzlies 0-4 in all those games. They just lost their last 2 by 21 and 25. The game that he played 24 minutes got into foul trouble early in that one. Now tonight, they get the Los Angeles Lakers, who are on the back-to-back and just went into double overtime in a grueling, gritty win in Milwaukee. Double OT. Every guy was gassed in the second half or second OT. And I have no idea who plays for the Lakers. I imagine LeBron James is back tonight. This is a team that's only minus 3.5 on the road in Memphis. This feels like a really tight game. And I think Desmond Bane is a guy that should get the field goal attempts in the minutes. And we're just asking him to knock down some shots. I'm not asking him to shoot 60%. If he shoots 60%, he cashes as easily. But if he shoots 40%, I think he clears this line. He's over this line in 74% of games this season when he's played at least 30 minutes. He should easily get that tonight. He's also over this line in 85% of games when he plays 30 minutes and shoots 15 times. This is an ideal matchup for Bane. He just had a game before he got injured back in January where he scored 22 or 24 points against the Lakers. Didn't really get a lot of volume because Ja Morant was active in that game, but he had a big night, and if you want to take the PRAs, you can, but I think the points is the better way to go for Bane. And why is this a great matchup? Well, because the Lakers give up a lot of shots that, Desmond Bane is comfortable taking. Over the last 10 games, the Lakers, 3rd most pull-up jump shots allowed. Those are, dribbling, pull-up jump shots. Maybe it's because Anthony Davis is sagging off in the paint. Give up a lot of pull-up jump shots and threes. Well, since his return, Bane averaged 15.8 field goal attempts, 8.8 of those, 56%. Pull-up jump shots. And it's not just been the last 4 games since his return. This is, in fact, what he basically has been shooting all season long, largely due to the fact the Grizzlies don't really have a point guard. Well, I mean, Ja Morant, obviously, but he's out for the year. And it's been Desmond Bane being like, hey, we need you to create on offense. Now, the problem with Bane is that since his return, he's shooting 28% on those pull-up jump shots. That's way down from the 40% he's shooting on the season. So I think some positive regression is going to come. Obviously, Bane, a guy that will probably play better at home, given that, he's been injured on and off this season. But back at home where he's comfortable, I think he shoots decently tonight, and I think he should easily clear us 18.5 points. So Desmond Bane, we need a good night from you. Go knock down some shots, knock down some threes. I don't care. We need 20 points out of you. Go hit the over 18.5. Now, my second pick is going to be a favorite game pick of the day. I do have 2 of them. One's a spread, one's an over-under. This one's going to go to a team that I don't think anyone wants to back right now, and this is the Los Angeles Clippers, -6, which is currently -108 on FanDuel. I was trying to get a 5.5 line, but it was about minus 125, and I really didn't want to lay minus 125 on a spread like that. You can if you want to, if you want a better chance of hitting, but I think the Clippers either win this game outright, then win it by 10 plus points, or it's gonna be an ugly showing. But as like I said, a lot of people do not want to bet on the Clippers, and I can't blame them. This team has not looked great over the past, few weeks, last month or so, but I think this is a spot the Clippers wake up at. Now, number one, you have me, hopefully, James Harden with some added motivation going up against Daryl Morey and that Sixers team, who obviously did him a little bit wrong, and now he's his first game back in Philly. And number two, while I don't necessarily think the best thing to do for Ty Lue is to call his team soft, they asked him, hey, does your team have an identity? Basically said, yeah, our identities were soft. So I don't necessarily know if the players on this team are good at responding to stuff like that. However, a guy that I know is very capable of responding to things like that is Russell Westbrook, who I am happy to have him back in the lineup. He returned on Monday. But let's talk about the Clippers, who obviously have not looked great. They've lost 2 straight games, both at home, by 17 to the Pacers in their last game and by 14 to the Sixers. Obviously, the team they played once again tonight. In that game versus the Sixers, they shot 18 of 37 from 3, 49%. The Clippers only shot 10 of 28. If the Clippers are losing the three-point battle against the Sixers, they're going to probably lose this game. But I don't think, if the Sixers are making 18 threes, tip my cap to them, because I don't think that's really going to happen all too many times. And I think this is a game where the Clippers bounce back here. Like I said, if the Sixers are making 18 threes, it's going to be hard to be any team making 18. But I really like this Clippers team to bounce back. And we've seen over the past month, the Clippers have not been good, but they've had several 2-game losing streaks. And exactly 4 to be exact. And in the previous 3, because obviously the fourth one was the last 2 games, they bounced back in that third game. They are 3-0 in that third game, winning by 25, 15, and 13 points against the Wizards, Bulls, and Blazers. Are the Wizards, Bulls, and Blazers good teams? No. Are the Sixers a good team? Honestly, no. They're not really that good. They got Maxey, Kelly Oubre Jr. We'll see if he plays. Tobias has been a little bit better since returning back from his injury. I'm not concerned about the Sixers offensively. This comes down to how locked in the Clippers are defensively and how well their offense is playing. We know Nick Nurse, he's going to throw some double teams at Kawhi Leonard and do that. But I think that's just a Clippers team that if we can see them start making some threes, I certainly think this is a team that could absolutely smoke the Sixers. They are much more talented than the Philadelphia 76ers. Just comes down to how hard they want to play tonight. Last game, Clippers didn't play hard. They gave up 133, only shot 6 for 20 from 3. This is a team that I think is much more capable of doing that and playing a lot better, and I think that this is a good spot to back them. I know a lot of people won't like to back the Clippers because they have some questionable guys on that team. This feels like the perfect spot for the Clippers to say, you know what, Sixers, we're tired of your garbage. We're going to go and blow you out by 20 points. And I think that could certainly happen. So, Clippers, we need a good showing from you. -6. I honestly think they could win this game by 15 to 20 points. Sixers are not good. Just comes down to the Clippers' effort, and I think the effort's there tonight. Now, my third play is going to be an assist prop. Yep, spooky. But when we've been ice cold on player props, we got to find different things to bet, and I really like this one tonight. It's for a New York Knick, Jalen Brunson, over 6.5 assists, plus 105 on ESPN Bet. Now, if you're looking for a play, well, I was going to take Josh Hart's under in PRAs, which means Josh Hart is making every single shot tonight, and hopefully they are coming off of some Brunson assists. But just joking aside, I really think this is a spot I really want to back Jalen Brunson. I was happy to get a 6.5 line at plus value. I played to about -125. Now, over the last 4 games, Brunson has averaged 7.5 assists per game on a little over 13 potential assists. Pretty good numbers. We can keep those numbers up. I feel pretty good. In those games, he had 7, 9, 8, and 6 assists. Obviously going over in 3 of 4, missing on the hook once. He's averaged a little over 60 passes made per game. We know the Knicks, Jalen Brunson's going to have the ball in his hands 24/7. And with Trey McBride, Deuce McBride out there, and Miles McBride, they got another shooter out there that's capable of stretching the floor. And the thing about the Raptors is, I've watched them play defense, not great defensively, but their defensive scheme is, hey, we're going to try to double your number one option if he drives, anything like that. And we're going to make your other guys make shots. And surrounding a guy like Brunson with McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, maybe even Josh Hart makes some shots tonight, I think this is a good spot to back some assists, especially for a team in the Raptors that has no rim protection with Jakob Poeltl and all their other guys out, including Jonte Porter. Woof. In 3 games, though, versus Toronto this year, Brunson has had 8, 9, and 9 assists going over in all 3. And those all included Julius Randle playing, who himself actually had good games assisting, 9, 5, and 10 assists. We've obviously seen a lot of high assist games versus Toronto, a team that is giving up a ton of assists. And it's just kind of been because that's how their defensive scheme is. They kind of double you if you drive, and they leave wide open shooters nonstop. And they also leave a lot of guys wide open in the paint, too. In the last 5 games, Just the last 5. Look at the guys that have had good games assisting against this team. We've seen Banchero, guy that doesn't average a ton of assists. He had 8 assists. Sabonis had 10. That's kind of a given. SGA, another guy like Brunson, drives a ton. He had 8 assists. Probably got a lot more. Jordan Poole had 12. Schroeder, 7. Every guy on that list passed the ball less than 60 times. Like I said, Brunson's been averaging over 60 passes made per game. I really feel like this is a good spot to back him. You will probably see him get it down low to Hartenstein a good amount, and I don't really trust Kelly Olynyk to rim protect a ton. And we'll also get Precious Achiuwa off the bench, who's good at rim running, and I really think this is just the spot I want to back Jalen Brunson assist. I think he has a ton of potential assists tonight, which comes down if the Knicks want to knock down some shots for him, but I don't see him having a big night scoring. He obviously could score 45, shoot 30 plus times, and we'd kind of be screwed here, but I don't really see this Raptors team being one that gives up a lot of, high volume games like that. I think it's more of a diverse attack to beat them. I really think we get 7. He could honestly get 10 assists tonight. It would not shock me at all. So Jalen Brunson, really like your over in assists, 6.5 plus 105. Now my fourth pick is going to be an over-under. We're actually going to an under. We're going to Minnesota, where I believe they're getting a ton of snow right now. So shout out to them. Hopefully you're being safe if you're in Minneapolis. But Pistons versus Timberwolves, I think in the Twin Cities. Pistons Timberwolves under 215.5, minus 110 on Caesars. Now hopefully the shooting tonight is ice cold, just like the weather outside for this matchup, as we're in Minneapolis. But I like the under in this spot. This line did open up around 210, 211, and then bet it up to 215.5. The public's hammering the over. I'm going to pump the brakes there. I think this is a low-scoring game for two teams that, if you had their choice, they probably play pretty slow. Now, the under is 19, 14, and 1 in Minnesota home games, so not too shabby. Minnesota also, if you look at the last 2 games, shot above 50% from 3 in both of them. They're obviously due some regression here, and hopefully that comes tonight at the hands of the Pistons, a team that, let's be honest, not really good defensively. However, Pistons last game, they suck defensively. They give up 124 points to the Knicks, 19 threes, 11 of them to Dante DiVincenzo, and Monty Williams is not too pleased in the press conference, was talking about, Dante kind of chasing a Knicks record. Wasn't too great. And while I'm not sure he can pump a lot of enthusiasm and defensive energy into the Pistons, because let's be honest, they kind of don't care at this point in the season, I do think this is a slower played game, and let's hope that their defense shows up a little bit more. And honestly, I think they don't have to show up a ton. If their offense doesn't show up, this probably scores under, because this is not a good matchup against the Timberwolves. Obviously one of the best defenses in the NBA. This is a Pistons team that does not shoot well from 3. So you're talking about a team that's probably going to have to go inside for most of their points. And it's going to be tough sledding in there with Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid. I think they started both of them in the last game. So I look at this team. This is a slow-paced game. I think this is a lower one, maybe a 111 to 95 type final score. I really honestly don't know if the Pistons even break 100 points tonight. While the Timberwolves could put up a ton of points, I think this is a game they probably take it slow. Don't really go too hard, especially given that they have a big matchup on Friday in Denver taking on the Nuggets. That's a game they're probably looking ahead to. Maybe they aren't as locked in offensively, running a ton of plays. It's a lot of isolation. Hopefully the Pistons can do their jobs at least a little bit defensively. I think that the under is the smart spot to be on here. Under 215.5 points is my favorite over-under of the day. And my fifth and final play of the day. This guy is the guy that might not play today, so if he doesn't play, you can just fast forward to the end of the video, and I appreciate you for coming out. It is an under. It is Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz, under 24.5 points, minus 105 on BetMGM. Like I said, Markkanen is questionable today with his quadriceps injury. If he plays, great. I like it. But if he doesn't play, obviously we get our money back. But I really like to fade Lowry here. Obviously, he's capable of scoring 25 points, just did in their last game. But I really don't like this matchup for how Lowry scores. Now, the Spurs, who they will face, and the Utah Jazz are at home taking on the Spurs. The Spurs are a team that have allowed the fewest catch-and-shoot made threes and three-point attempts over the last 10 games in the NBA. And they're pretty substantially number one in terms of all those metrics. So not giving up a lot of catch-and-shoot threes, not great for Markkanen, a guy that leads the NBA in catch-and-shoot threes made and attempts per game. And that actually accounts for 41% of his points on the season. So his number one way of scoring is the catch-and-shoot made three. This is a terrible matchup for that. In fact, I think this is a much better matchup for guys like Keontae George, who probably scores 25 tonight, or even Colin Sexton. Jordan Clarkson, I believe, is out. But still, I just don't like this matchup for Markkanen to knock down a ton of threes in a matchup that, like I said, they don't give up a ton. Just look at Grayson Allen the last 2 games against the Spurs. He barely even shot any threes because that's how devoted the Spurs are at limiting catch-and-shoot threes. I don't know if Wembanyama plays tonight. Obviously, would be cool if he did because that helps their defense. But you still look at Lowry's three-point lines. It's under 3.5 threes, heavily juiced, minus 170. Look, we're playing the numbers there. They're saying, hey, more often than not, Lowry's going under this line against the Spurs. And this season, when he makes 3 or less threes, he's averaging just a little bit over 20 points per game in those 28 such games. and he's gone under this line in 79% of games. Is Lowry capable of making 3 or less threes and still in the over? Yeah, because the Spurs maybe aren't the best defensively on other metrics, but I really think this is a spot that Markkanen doesn't get a ton going from the three-point line, and I think that we see hopefully him and maybe defer to his other teammates. Maybe it's a slower playing game. The Spurs are kind of a weird team. You never know what you're getting for them offensively, but we just saw these two teams played about a month ago on February 25th. In that game, Markkanen actually hit the over, 26 points on 10 of 18 shooting, 56%, and he made 5 of his 8 3-pointers. If you were to bet on Lowry 5+ threes tonight, that's plus 310. Like, at the end of the day, the sports books are the sharpest in the world. That's what they get paid to do, make sharp lines. They're putting that at plus 310. Obviously, it could hit more sometimes, but I really think that Markkanen is coming into this game, and he's going to put up a dud if he plays. I mean, he did just, shoot 6 for 9 from 3 last game, so he's definitely due some regression, and I just don't like the matchup for him against San Antonio. Hopefully Wemby plays, that Wemby can, contest him driving, because I don't think he'll guard Lowry one-on-one, but I really think this is just not a great spot for Lauri Markkanen to spam threes. He might have had a really dominant history against the Spurs in his last 5 games against them, but there's a much different defensive team than he's seen in the last, 3 or 4 matchups. I really think this is a spot I will fade Lowry. I hope he plays so that we can get this 5th play on the record. Really like his under tonight as my 5th and final play of the day. So our plays: Lauri Markkanen's under in points if he plays. Timberwolves, Pistons, under in points. We got Clippers, -6. We got Brunson over in assists. And our favorite player prop of the day, Desmond Bane, over in points. You guys have a wonderful day. There will be a new second channel video live on the channel a little bit soon. Our time in Australia, we get to dive the Great Barrier Reef, swim with some sharks, cool things. Go check it out. I'll link it on the screen when it is live. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying those second channel videos because we put a lot of effort into them, and I think they really turn out well, especially if you're curious about what Australia or New Zealand or any of those things look like, or just want to learn more about myself and Trina, my wife. So either way, appreciate you guys as always. Like I said, thank you guys again for all the birthday comments and wishes yesterday. I certainly appreciate it. I know it's been a cold streak. I say that every single day because I know it's going to end one day, and if today could be the day where we can go 5-0, kickstart some momentum on the channel, I certainly would love that. So you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Let me know your favorite picks down below. 5 picks, no added ones today. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.